Okay. Hi everybody. Um, this is yesterday's um devotional. Um, why did I not do it yesterday? Because of our weather. Um, it was predicted there was going to. Oh, let me get this straight. Um, predicted there was going to be like tornado weather. And so, a couple of things. One, I needed to keep my phone charged for in case we lost power, which we did. Uh, Thankfully, we only lost for a couple hours. Other people didn't get power on until sometime today. And I'm sure there's probably still people without power. Um, and we did get. We were in a tornado warning for a short while, but there were counties right above us and next to us that had tornadoes touch the ground. There were one right above us. They said was 12 miles long, so that's kind of a long path. And another one was 8 miles long. So these are just in the counties right above. And so there was just tornado warnings all over the place, and not really a good time to try and do a video. And then uh, we also had, uh, my new aide and her husband and dogs. They came over. They don't have a basement or a safe room, or there's. And for being in Tornado Alley, um, our town does not have public shelters. Um, so people, um, if they have a basement or a safe room, try to open that up when needed. So that's what we were doing last night. And I ended up having a tornado party in my room. My grandchild Aspen was here as well in case my mom wanted to come downstairs, but she never does. Um, she rides them out upstairs, and I usually ride them out upstairs as well. Um, be, but I stayed downstairs because I had people here. So it was a different type of Monday night. Not my usual. Anyway, so that's why I'm doing this today. But um, I had so this is kind of like a praise for yesterday. Well, it is not kind of. And it's a long time coming. So this might be longer than normal. I'll try to make it short, or maybe divide it up into and use part two for today. I don't know. We'll just see. Um, Anyway, a lot of this I have talked about in bits and pieces in different videos, on lives, everything like that. So I'm just going to try and put it together now, and I will try to keep it short. So, um, back in May of 1987, which I've actually talked about in a couple other videos with different things, um, before we left Germany, like my pastor and friends and everybody, they prayed over me, and I'm having really bad speech issues today. I know it's fatigue and everything, so just kind of um, if I'm struggling and the words come out wrong, just do your best to figure it out what I'm saying. Um, but one of the things they prayed over me, prophesied over me, uh, was that my healing would be slow. Now, I had absolutely no idea what that meant. I was, let's see, 26, and I had no idea of all the issues my body already had. So I had no idea what that meant. I always wondered over the years, what did that my healing would be slow meant? And then I started acquiring all these different chronic health issues, which I'd already had since childhood, but were just becoming more and more um, the symptoms. And then, those of you with chronic health issues know that sometimes you go through years and years and years of tests to rule out things before you finally get a diagnosis. And so the last couple of years has been getting diagnosed with way more things than um, I thought I had, but it's good. It's fine. Anyway, so um, fast forward to uh, okay. I already talked last week about my kidneys, uh, so that was a lab number that was improved, and then I had some other numbers. I was diagnosed with a vitamin D deficiency. Let's see, it's 26. 2023, I think. I'm trying to remember if it was before my first surgery or after. I think it was 22 years ago. And my vitamin D was probably as low as it can go. So I was taking uh, monthly, no, weekly vitamin D pills. And then a year ago at my physical, it had gone up a little bit, but not enough. It was like 29, and it was still low, so I had to take not just the weekly, but a daily pill. I didn't take the daily pill for long. Just when I ran out, I just didn't refill it. Um, and that's also when I started sitting outside every day last June and started doing the YouTube videos, but just being outside every day, no matter what the weather, no matter how I felt physically, even if it was for 5 seconds, just to not break that habit. The only 2 days that I have missed since like whatever, sometime in June last year, was my surgery date and the date after. Um, so my vitamin D labs a year ago was 29, and then last week with my labs it had jumped to 92. So now I have too much vitamin D. Um, and I don't have to take any pills anymore because I'm getting what I need from natural sources, from the sun, from being outside every day. So I like to have as little, I'm not a medication seeker, so I like to have as little in my body um, because of my kidneys, and just because I've never been a medication seeker. Just because I have too many allergies and sensitivities and everything with that. So that was a praise, is a praise, because just sitting outside, even for a minute, every day has improved my vitamin D so much that I now have too much. Um, and then my cholesterol, I've about, and so this would have been 3 years ago. My cholesterol was all normal. Everything about it was normal, so I was able to go off the cholesterol meds. And so every year, the meds have all been within the normal range. But last week, everything was like not. None of my cholesterol labs were good. They weren't super bad, but they were not like in the range of normal. And but I knew why. I had to let one of my aides, well, two of my aides go that I had, which meant there wasn't any meal prep going on of the healthy stuff that I liked, and because I have to have somebody with me when I walk, I'm a full risk for a multitude of reasons, and so just grabbing something to eat, whatever I could, um, and not as much walking and everything. Not that I walk a lot when I do have somebody, just but I can walk further away from the car, right? I can. We uh we figured out that I can walk 2 minutes one direction. I still feel okay and I want to walk more, but realize I have to walk back to where I started. So, um, but we actually, I can walk 3 minutes when we measured again. I can walk 3 minutes one direction, and then have no matter how I feel, um, then I have to turn around and walk back. So 6 minutes is the max I can do, and that's on a good day. And that's with a mobility device and someone else with me. So the lack of all those things made my cholesterol go, but the way just bad numbers again. And so I went in with a plan yesterday to my doctor, and I said, "Hey, my new aide, we already did last Friday. She did a lot of meal prep of all the things that I like to have, basic stuff, and um, and we'll be as soon as my knee allows me to, we'll be out walking, a little bit more and everything. And so, can I just do the diet and the walking and get my cholesterol numbers back to normal without medications?" And my doctor said yes, that was fine. Because she had seen, like I said, all my other labs are fine and I've changed, and I know what it is that caused this. So um, she's okay with that, and so that is a praise because, again, that's a pill I don't have to take. We're just letting it changing it with diet. I've changed it with diet before, and we'll change it again. So she wanted asked if I wanted to test in 3 months, and I said no because then I'll be getting ready for another surgery, and I might have to be eating like I might not be eating well. So 6 months. So hopefully in 6 months I will have my numbers improved or normal. So that was a really big deal for me. And then there was another one. So I do have mental health challenges. I have a big trauma history, and I know a lot of you do as well. Um, and some of it I know is genetic, but some of it is just I have a huge trauma history. Um, and so I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder in 1998, and I have always hated that diagnosis. Um, I never blamed God or was angry at God. I was always angry at myself. Like, how could I get this when God has done so much for me, and I felt like I had failed Him. That's a whole nother story in itself, not for today. Um, the thing is the diagnosis, and so on every medical everything that's a that's on there, and it has been since 1998. Everything has that on there, and I don't like that label. I do have CPTSD, OCD, and some other things that I don't remember right now, but oh, like social anxiety, and I don't know if that's still a diagnosis or not. It might have changed to just generalized anxiety. Not really sure. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Um, but the last year, I have, because of doing the YouTube channel again, and again, because of sitting outside every day, and then all the online support from, you know, the people I talk to online, and everything has decreased my depression so much that every few months we decreased dosage on my meds. And to where yesterday, um, I've only taken one antidepressant for years now. And so that's what we've been reducing the dosage on. And I've made it a year with all my anniversary dates and trauma anniversaries and new things popping up without much of an issue. And so yesterday we did the last, um, oh, what word did I just use? A decrease of medication. Um, we got rid of the nighttime dose, and so I am only on one pill a day, the lowest dose I can go on one med, and that has not happened since 1998. And so that is a huge, huge praise. And that's God, and that's prayer, and that's everything. Um, and the other thing is like, can we, who changes the diagnosis? Who, because I really don't like to have that on there. Now, that diagnosis does, the MDD does have to be on everything for insurance purposes, but there's different codes underneath that. And so my diagnosis is now, this is a really big deal. I worked really hard on absolutely everything as best as possible. And I do all the things, medical, physical, that they tell me to do to the best of my ability. So my diagnosis now is mild depression in remission. And both my med provider and therapist have that down as um, a diagnosis of that. Yes, I'm getting teared up because that's a huge thing. And if you struggle with any type of mental health issues and depression and everything, you know that's a huge, huge deal. I was told yesterday that I've handled everything in the last year, in the last few months, the way someone without the trauma and depression and everything would handle it. And so that's just all the hard work that I've done, and all the prayer and trusting God and having my faith. So those are huge things for me. And I don't know where I'm at on time, but it doesn't really matter right now. So what uh so how does this fit into healing, slow healing? Because none of these things happened overnight. And and um I know I've said in other videos that um if I feel like I hear somebody upstairs. But sometimes, we're healed just instantly, and sometimes it's not till we have it, and other times it's a slow healing. Now, for me, I've known that whatever with me, physically or mentally, would be healing slow. And I am seeing now a whole lot of progress and a whole lot of healing. You know, the vitamins, the all the other things, my kidneys, all of that. And so, um, yesterday I in this little devotional here, I had to go back and read it for yesterday. It's like every path. Oh, John 10:10. My purpose is to give life in all its fullness, and um, every path has purpose, even the ones with pitfalls and pity parties we throw in solitude when our minds fill up with why and how much longer. If we want God's fullness, we have to trust Him fully, and what He sees that we can't is the moment our hearts are ready for the great things He has planned for us. So I had read this before my appointments yesterday, not really knowing what it meant for me at the time, but then I found out. So then Romans 5, 3 and 4, and this is all in the RSV version. More than that, we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. Um, yeah, uh, uh, I'm just, okay, I don't know how to explain any of that, but rejoice in your sufferings. Why would you rejoice in that? I'm thankful that, um, like, that I have the issues that I do because God puts people in my path who need to know the resources that I've learned over the years, who need encouragement, who need hope, who need to know not to give up, to keep going, to not quit, and everything. And they might not have the faith that I do. They may not know God. They may not have, like, the providers that I do, all those type of people to help support them and get them through whatever they're struggling with. So I'm thankful that I I know I have that knowledge. So for me, that's what that means. And then um, 2 Corinthians 4:17 and 18. For the slight momentary affliction is preparing for us an eternal weight of glory beyond all comparison, because we look not to the things that are seen, but to the things that are unseen. For the things that are seen are transient, but the things that are seen are eternal. And for me, what that means is, like, I cannot see all the healing that God is doing inside my body. I couldn't see how He was healing my kidneys. I could see how He was healing my vitamins, because I've also had a vitamin B deficiency. But when I was tested a couple of years ago, um, it was I tested so high that it wasn't even able to be recorded, so we had to stop the vitamin D. And again, when I when we found out I had it, I was at the lowest of the low. So I can't see all the things that God is doing inside my body to heal my body, and apparently He's been doing a lot of healing. So, and I trust that it's just going to keep going like it has been. And then, Hebrews 6:12, so that you may not be sluggish, but imitators of those who through faith and patience inherit the promises. I know God has promised to heal me in His time when He feels it's ready, and I trust that my faith uh, keeps growing, it's stronger, and there's just other things going on where I see God using it, that it's not for sharing, like, here. Um, but there's just so many other ways that He uses what I have. And so um, if um, basically it's okay that it's slow because it is healing. There's a lot of healings that I have had over the years, and we're getting there. And like, I never thought I'd be free from depression, but here we are. And I can honestly say I haven't felt depressed in a long I mean I'm currently healed from that. Um, that's not something that I ever thought I'd be able to say. Um, and I'm just having faith and believing that it will stay that way. Um, so slowing a slow healing is, just to increase our faith and our trust and our patience, and reminding us not to give up, just to keep going. And yes, there are days that are really, really difficult. Um, um, and there are days, and there hasn't been a lot recently, but there are days where, with some of the neuro issues, that I can't sit in the chair. I have to be in the bed. That's just how it is. And um, I mean, it's fine. It's okay. I know that the next day um, can be totally different, and I always look forward to see how God is gonna do the next day. Anyway, I think I don't know if I made any sense. Um, but also God does everything. You know, He's never late. I'm a pastor that's years ago. He said God's never late. He's always on time. So I just gotta trust the process. And again, I have seen um, so much healing in the last few months, in the last few days, even. And I did my devotion on Saturday about another thing that was a part of the process of healing. So you can go back to that um, and watch that if you haven't. So so now I got to figure out what the devotion is for today, so I can do that video. But this is um, whatever you're going through physically, mentally, and everything, just like don't give up. Reach out. Again, you can email me or put something in the comments if you want to talk or something. We can figure out how to make that happen. But and there's so many people on YouTube with chronic health issues. Find them, talk to them, watch their channels. How they cope. You know, um, but there's resources out there for you, whatever it is. There's help. Um, you don't have to do any of this alone. Um, I mean, God does have the resources for you and the people, and just um, reach out to Him. And thank you for watching this, and your prayers, and um, put it in this one. But my knee is probably frozen now, but it's doing a lot better. I'm on day 19, walking a whole lot better, especially after PT today. And I do know that I may have to be, and I've already accepted this. It's fine, a part of my life, but to keep my healing going, physically and mentally, I will probably have to be in all the therapies for the rest of my life to make sure I stay stable and keep all the everything going until I'm fully healed, whether it's here or not here, and I'm okay with that. Um, that's just how my life is. So anyway, I hope I made some kind of sense. And anyway, thank you for watching.